Welcome back to another episode of the Between the Lines podcast. Today we're doing episode number 7. We'll be talking about our memories in professional sports, baseball, basketball, and football. But before we do that, we're going to go into some sports time machine. So on Tuesday, May 26th, I don't know, some of you might have seen the video probably, but Jose Canseco was playing center field. And there's a fly ball hit out there. It hit him on the top of the head and bounced over the fence. So that's what we're celebrating today.
Wow.
Uh, Mine, I'll go back to 2004. This was actually an event that I wanted to mention on today's video, but I'll just throw it off the park right away. It's the second time my hometown team won the Champions League final. FC Porto, we beat Monaco. My dad was at that game in Germany, Gelsenkirchen Stadium. I mean, for me, it's a very special memory since it's not every day that you watch like your hometown club win such a great competition as the Champions League. Since we're like always the underdogs, and we had like an amazing team that year. I can never forget. Mourinho was our coach, and I remember my dad coming back from the game the day after. Everything was just so. It was like a whole weekend of happiness, celebrating with my folks, party around the city. I was still a kid. It was so wild. So I'll go with that memory.
Dang, I bet y'all are partying forever.
Yeah.
All right. So mine, I'm going to follow the Champions League thing too. And it's when Real Madrid won 2018, won their third consecutive one. And Gareth Bale had 2 goals and a mean bite against Liverpool.
Mm. Sweet. So I think we'll just go right into this sports mementos right here. You want to start us off, Tiago?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna kick it right off with one of the most obvious memories you guys thought I was gonna bring up, but it's still very heated up in my head, if you know what I mean. Man, 2013 NBA Finals, Game 6. Man, I remember watching that and thinking that we're done. You know what? Like LeBron got us a ring, and that's it. We're out of here. And bro, Ray Allen. Damn, Ray Allen, man, that corner shot. I mean, I remember the whole sequence. You know, like Braun misses the 3-pointer. Chris Bosh gets the rebound. He finds Ray Allen. He steps back. Amazing shooter. That's money. He steps out. He steps out. What I'm saying is like, yeah, one of the most crazy things about that moment is like, Cole, y'all remember Cole as a bench player for the Heat. He was on the bench celebrating. He was the only guy celebrating before that shot came in. And I watched like an interview with him, and he said like as soon as he saw that ball going into Ray Allen's hands, he just trusted it. That's wild, man. You know, like you go from being eliminated and people like giving up to winning another title because the next game we just took over.
Straight up, man. He's a sniper for sure.
That's it.
All right. For my first memory, I'm going to go back to the year of 2006. So to this day, this is the best football game that I have ever watched. It was the Rose Bowl between the Texas Longhorns and the USC Trojans. It was also the national championship as well in LA down there at the Rose Bowl. The Longhorns ended up winning 41-38. They were actually down by about 12 points deep into the fourth quarter. There's like 6.5 minutes left in the game or something like that. The final play ended with Vince Young scamper into the right corner of the end zone to score with the game-winning touchdown. But this was a time where I like sports and I'd like watch them on the TV, but you don't really like understand like how the transition from like college to pros works. But I was just looking back at these rosters today, and from both rosters, there's nearly 50 players that went on to play professional football. Like for the Trojans, you had Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. It didn't really work out in the NFL for him, but he's still a beast there. Steve Smith, the wide receiver. And they had a 34-game winning streak going into that game that got snapped. And it was just pretty insane to watch. And like, you know, being 10 then and now damn near 14 years older now, it's still like 100% like the best football game I've ever watched.
Were you at the game?
No, I wish I was. I was watching it on my couch with my mom. I put a $5 bet on it with my grandpa though, so it really took me to the bank.
Oh, okay. Nah, I think that goes down as like one of the greatest college games ever. So
100.
All right, so mine, I gotta double back to the Heat, and you know me, since we rivals, Tiago. My memory that I want to go with first is when the Mavs beat the Heat in 2011, right? And I remember that
Yeah.
I remember that was like one of the first finals that I legit like sat and watched. And like if you think about that finals, like that Mavs team, do you see
That's
who was on
crazy.
that team?
Nah, that's
You
crazy.
got like
A bunch of nobodies, bro.
these old guys,
Yeah.
JJ Barrera,
Yeah, like
Jason
Tyson
Kidd,
Chandler.
Tyson Chandler, Dirk,
Mhm.
moving all old and shit, So I
For real.
mean, it's crazy. And I think they were down 15 in game 2. I think that was an important game right there. Dirk led that comeback. There's a lot that went down in that final, so but the Heat did not come out on top. So sorry.
So I can take that. Before I go to my next memory, I actually want to say that when we come up with these topics for a video or in our podcast, I think it's important to mention that these historical facts that we mentioned is that besides being a conversation between us three, which is always an interesting thing to have with friends, it's also important to mention that some of these moments shape the way some people look at sports. Some of these moments influenced franchises to being or having a winning culture today, and influenced a lot of fans to start watching these teams or even the whole country. Because my next memory, it's actually from Portugal winning the Euro. And man, like there's no way I could have let this one slip. I mean, when it comes to memory with influence, cultural influence, I mean, Portugal always had like a huge soccer football culture. And when we hosted the 2004 Euro, we went to the finals and we lost with Greece, and that has always been something that stayed with us until 2016. So Portugal never had that success in a seniors category, like the top tier category in a Euro Cup, and it just felt bad to have lost that 2004 finals. And I know Cristiano Ronaldo especially, when he played that Euro for us, the 2016, you knew that he didn't have like many years more left playing for the national team. So that 2016 whole tournament, I remember watching it like. I mean, like I've watched the whole all the games, not just Portugal, but I remember like going outside with my friends every day just to watch Europe match games. And Portugal was not doing well, man. I remember at the beginning everybody thought we were out, and we managed to go to the finals playing soccer in a way that it's not very attracting to see, but it was efficient to win. And man, so Cristiano Ronaldo gets subbed out in the final. He gets injured. This guy comes in. He's called Eder. He's was considered like the joke player. You know, that player everybody makes fun of because you don't expect nothing for him. That's the guy.
Hmm.
And he shots. I remember talking to my friends like, if this guy comes in, we're done. Like, we don't have Cristiano Ronaldo. He's just coming in. We're just fooling around. And on the last minutes of the match, he shoots the ball off the area like from a pretty significant distance, and the ball goes in. And
Wow.
I don't know how to describe the feeling that was felt while watching that in the city center with surrounded by Portuguese people, my friends, my best friends were with me, my family. And man, there's just I get goosebumps just thinking about it. You know, that's like it's more than a sports memory. It's like something that's gonna stick with me for life. Like we won the Euro against France that had a stacked team. Like they had Paul Pogba playing Griezmann, and this guy comes out of nowhere, the worst player in our team. He scores the winner, and wow, you know, like I don't know, man. That shapes the culture, the winning culture of a country, you know, because right now we are European champions, and that's something that's going to stick with us forever.
So
Definitely.
why did they sub Ronaldo out? Was he just tired
He
at
was
the end of
injured. He was injured.
injured? Okay,
Ronaldo had a knee injury that game.
got you.
Yo,
Very
I
dramatic.
remember watching that game. I remember watching
Oh,
that and watching everything unfold. Like, and you sitting there, you like, yo, France has to win this. Like
Mhm.
as you said, they had the stacked
Mhm.
team. Going into it, like nobody's thinking like, Portugal's like truly gonna come out and beat them.
Oh, definitely. I remember having a conversation with my dad before the match, and we were just like, "Hey, let's be real here. We're in the finals. We know we're going to suffer for the team, but hey, it's France. They got one of the best teams in Europe. They're playing at home. I forgot to mention that was in France. The whole Euro Cup was in France. They were playing at home with one of the best European teams ever. And my dad was just like, let's not get sad if we lost. Let's just celebrate anyways because we managed to get to the finals. And boy, what a ton of
what's cool
events.
about that game too? No matter if you don't think like Ronaldo's like a great player or whatever, this man was injured and he's sitting there. He messed up his hip, right?
Yeah, no, it was his knee. He was injured on the knee, but he was on the bench, doing the coach stuff. Yeah,
he's up the whole game and he's sitting there. He's shouting at everybody. He's like trying to coach up everybody. So
he was crying, bro. Like he was crying as soon as we scored the goal. He just, I don't know. Nobody lived that much as Ronaldo did on the bench. That was crazy.
I bet that was a crazy feeling. So
that was a crazy feeling.
I'm gonna take it back to basketball here. I'm gonna go to the, in sports, there's like plays or moments that kind of just define seasons or even games. Just really everything in this moment and play right here kind of embodied the 2016 Cavs NBA Final Championship. So it's game 7, 2 minutes left. I think it was a pass to Iguodala. He's running down the court, about a layup to take the lead, 91-89. LeBron James comes running from full court, swats it off the backboard, immediately took all the energy out of the building there at Oracle Arena, and it just totally changed the momentum for the Cavs to go on and win, I believe, by 4, 93-89. But it's just such an historic moment for Cleveland because that was now their first and only championship. And, when Bron, he started in Cleveland, he went to Miami, did his thing with the Heatles, got a ring or two. Now he came back to Cleveland. I think we could all agree, just from listening to him talk in the past, that was his one goal, was to get the Cavs a ring. So when thinking about sports memories, I was like, man, not for sure. That's pretty fucking dope.
Definitely.
I
think another play like that too is, I think it's going to be appreciated a little bit more down the road. But that shot that Kawhi hit on against Philly.
Against Philly in the corner for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's one of those. But that pitch is everywhere. That block is crazy.
You get a poster, bro.
Yeah, that's clean. For me, in basketball, something I want to appreciate is back to the Kawhi thing. This man came up to the Raptors, after finding his way out of San Antonio, and led the whole city, the whole organization to the championship, won it, and was out. Never agreed to stay anything. Just kind of did what he had to do. You knew he was leaving. I just think that it's so early that it was literally last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I just think it's something crazy that's just gonna, when you sit and look back at it, you're gonna be like, wow, this man really just came up, kind of just disrupted things, And I know it would have been different had KD been here, Klay Thompson wasn't injured, whatever. I'm just saying that this whole run, it was kind of crazy. So
yeah, I mean, Kawhi going there, doing what he did and leaving, that's just something I think we'll never see again. And I think we'll never see something like that happen, especially from a guy with Kawhi's personality. I mean, it's just odd, man. I love it.
I saw this tweet and I was laughing. It said that after this quarantine, it made me realize that when Kawhi retires, we're never going to hear from him again.
Yeah.
Definitely, for sure. For sure, guys gonna...
It's kind of funny if you think about it, because obviously when Toronto, made the deal to get him, their hope was that he'd stick around and sign another extension. But now that he left, he was almost like a hired mercenary, just a straight killer for one season, just dismantling your favorite team, just fucking up your favorite player. And I kind of also feel like after he hit that shot in the corner against Philly and they went on, all those bounces, man, I remember watching that live and I still don't understand how that went in. But after that moment, I was like, man, maybe it's just destiny. They got to go all the way, because I didn't even think they'd get past the Bucks, but that shot must have been something in the water, bro.
I know. And then also, think about it too. This man's also a champ before, and I think that we sometimes forget about that too. He was 21 or 20. I think he was 21 at the time, right?
Yeah, he was a young cat on the Spurs, man.
Yeah, and he's out here. He's wreaking havoc on LeBron. Of course, not stopping him, but causing trouble and all that. So, I mean, this guy is just the most. Like you said, he's a mercenary. He's a hired mercenary. He goes in there. He just kills everybody, wins his championship, and he's out.
Yeah,
It's the whole Toronto situation, bro. Like everybody said, like Toronto never had a chance on the East while LeBron was there because LeBron just made them their little bitch every year, you know. And like as soon as LeBron leaves the East, Toronto wins the title. That's that's something really funny to think about, bro. I don't know. I know the Rosen was not there, but still, like Toronto just needed LeBron to be out, bro, to get something done.
What did they? Didn't they call it LeBronto?
Yeah, LeBronto. Oh my god, that was horrible to see when they swept them with that team with like J.R. Smith as the third best player on the team. Like, that's wild, bro. That's wild. I mean, moving on now. I'll stick with soccer for one more. I mean, as an European and coming from Portugal, I feel like soccer has been my main sport and the thing that has brought me more joy. Growing up as a sports fan, and I've mentioned before that FC Porto has some of the best fans in the world. I think you guys should check some videos on YouTube if you want to check how loud people get. But there's this one time in 2013, and you know that we are rivals with Benfica, the team from the capital, and we were playing them by the end of the season. And we had to win them to win the championship. So you guys know that we don't have playoffs. It's like we only have like the regular season, and whichever team ends with more points, more wins or whatever, wins the title. And so I guess we were like 1 point behind them. So if we tied the game, we would lose the championship title. And the game is tied 1-1. I'm watching with my dad again, and yet again, history repeats. A very random player comes onto the field on the 90th minute, I think a little bit before, called Kelvin. He never played again for us. I'm just saying, he just did this thing. He comes in, and there's this play at the overtime. It's the 92nd minute. The referee gives 3 more minutes to play, and this guy just gets the ball on the area from a very random spot. He shoots the ball, and the ball manages to hit the second post and in, which is a fucking crazy goal if you think about it. And the crowd, like if you see that video on YouTube, you cannot hear anything else but the crowd. And what's more beautiful about this is that the coach from the rivals team, he kneeled. He was kneeling down on the field, just desperate. Can you imagine? Like you have your championship on your hands, and you just suffer. You just need a tie, and you suffer a late goal at the 92nd minute, and you lose to your rivals. For us, bro, for Porto fans that have been living through this rivalry for years. I don't remember like I would even compare it to the Euro, winning the Euro Cup. I'm not gonna lie, like winning against your rivals from the capital in the 92nd minute and watching their coach kneel down in the middle of the field, just desperate, bro. He's crying on the field, and everybody's running. Like our coach is running through the field. All the players are running, and like the crowd noise for like 10 straight minutes is just like insane. You cannot hear anything. It's just crowd noise. I recommend both of you and everybody that's going to watch this video to look it up on YouTube as the Kelvin goal, the 2-1 lead Porto took in 2013. It's just insane. I have goosebumps watching the video every time I watch it, and I hear the commentaries. It's just wild. And once again, it's just shaped because we were about to have our winning culture cut down because the years prior to that one was not that good. But that one was just so sweet, you know, like out of your rival, one more championship to the house, and that's one hell of a way to celebrate.
Oh yeah,
another party, huh?
Another party.
Hey man, when are y'all not partying out there, bro?
I don't know, man.
All right, I'm gonna take it back from soccer over to professional football. I'm gonna lay a little backdrop on this one. So it's Super Bowl 42. You got the undefeated Patriots going against the Eli Manning-led Giants. There's a play, I think many people know about it, the David Tyree catch, man. When David Tyree, actually, you know, I'm gonna drop it back even further. It's 3rd and 5. They're a few yards on their own side of the 50. Manning snaps it in shotgun. There's 4 pass rushers on him immediately, grabbing him by the collar, trying to pretty much like horse collar him down to the ground. He somehow finds a way to spin out of like 3 tackles, takes a step back, just throws a prayer up in the middle of the field. As we all know, Tyree went up and caught that ball, pinned it with one hand to his helmet, and caught it. So kind of like that LeBron James thing I was talking about. There's these plays in sports that you wonder how in the hell could that possibly happen, and that's one of those. And the second point I'd like to say is, I think we can all agree, like if anybody is listening to this and they go search on YouTube the last play or the David Tyree catch, it's pretty insane to watch Eli Manning move around in the pocket because Eli struggles on his feet and he's just dodging people. So it must have been one of those things. It was just destiny, man, because David Tyree was just a journeyman throughout his whole entire career. I think he only lasted with the Giants for about a season or 2 more after that. So I don't know, man. Sometimes random people just step up and do incredible things.
Like
I
that
don't
one.
know, man. I think people talk way too trash on Eli Manning, but boy, he brought us some nice memories in football. He might not be like the best quarterback ever, not even close to it, not even close to being Peyton Manning, but boy, Eli knew, like, he did some crazy plays, some highlight plays. And
I
he did
mean,
that thing
Patriot killer.
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I wrote at the end of my notes here, I wrote, Eli Manning, of all people in the world, ended up being the kryptonite to the Patriots and Tom Brady because he beat him twice in the Super Bowl. If you told me that, like, imagine if you were like an alien, like, and you come to Earth and you watch football players. I don't think Eli Manning's the guy you'd think that would take down the Patriots and Tom Brady 2 different times.
That's just beautiful to watch, like just beautiful in sports history to see that Eli Manning did that twice.
So as y'all know, I was supporting the Patriots for a time, right? So
Oh, we coming Patriots right now?
nah. Well, yeah, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that. But what you were just talking about, Max, I remember watching this game in a house full of Giants fans.
Oh shit.
So, I'm sitting here with everybody who's Giants fans. We're all from New York, and everybody's questioning, why are you even supporting the Patriots? I don't know. Whatever. But I just remember.
And they probably grilled you harder when you said, I don't know.
It was bad. And, we're sitting pretty, and then boom, that play right there. Just, I don't know how it happened. I'm sitting there. I'm like, there's no way. Can't be a catch. They call it a catch. I mean, like, what do? You're the only person supporting this team? Like,
yeah.
I'll try to do a little Homer Simpson thing, just sit back, just go into the bush, so.
Exactly.
But a memory I want to talk about, continue on the Patriots, was the 28-3 comeback. I think that was one of the craziest comebacks, Of course there are other ones out there, but just a 28-3 comeback, you're sitting there all the way through the third quarter, you pretty much have the game in your hands. And this is all on the Falcons. Like, how do you let somebody come back 28-3 in a quarter and a half? You're winning the whole game. All you have to do is literally get a couple stops, maybe even score again, do something. So the fact that they let that happen, just a slow comeback, like, it's just bad. And then what's even worse is that they're gonna get grilled for that forever.
Oh yeah.
Forever. So
yeah, I think I was gonna say, when you were talking about the Patriots losing that Super Bowl to the Giants when Plaxico Burress caught that game winner in the end zone, I was gonna say they definitely made up for it in the games that they somehow found a way to beat the Falcons. That should have never happened. And the fact that Russell Wilson threw the ball on the 1-yard line and Malcolm Butler picks. So I'm like, luck has certainly been balanced in their favor over the course of time.
It has balanced out, right?
Yeah.
I love the clutch thing when it comes to football. And as y'all know, as I'm a Dolphins fan, I don't have much to cheer for the last couple of years. But boy, 2 seasons ago, y'all remember the Miami Miracle. I still talk about it.
Dude, that play is insane, bro.
And that play is pretty special to me because, like in Portugal, nobody really watched the NFL. And my mom always thought I was weird as fuck for be watching, like taking the TV away on a Sunday to watch NFL, while my dad was like pissed off watching TV on the kitchen because I was just watching NFL. on a Sunday, and she hears me screaming, bro, on the Miami Miracle, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, why are you fucking screaming?" Like, I kicked the couch with my cat, and he got pissed at me. Just the whole beauty. Like, I've never seen like on a live game a clutch play like that, and like when you see Gronkowski sleeping near the end zone. Oh my god! Because I honestly thought the play would never like go to the end zone. I see Tannehill making the pass. I see the second ball going to Kenyon Drake, but as soon as he starts running, I'm like, somebody's gonna stop him because I just see all these Patriots defenders like up the field going up onto Kenyon Drake. I'm like, he's not gonna make it. No way, because he's alone. He has nowhere to pass the ball now. And then Gronkowski slips. I don't even know what Gronkowski was doing on defense, bro. I don't even know why he was there. And Kenyon Drake. Oh my god, bro. I still have to order a jersey of Drake, bro. I don't care.
I need crazy. That. Because I didn't watch it live, but I picked it up on NFL Network like an hour after it happened, and I think Gronk was out there because they thought they were just going to toss up some Hail Mary and just have Gronk like swat it down or something. But what I remember from that is, I don't know. I feel like Kenyon Drake's at like the 25-yard line, and it's like, oh shit, is Gronk like about to actually make this tackle right now? And he just slips on his ass, and it was just dope because. If you think about it too, like another random like tidbit about the Dolphins are the one team in the AFC East that like have actually gave the Patriots like the most problems like over the last like decade or so.
It's talking about kryptonite from random shit. Like you say Eli Manning being a random kryptonite to the Patriots, but how about the Dolphins? Like we just made them lose, like playing the wild card last season because we won again to the Patriots. Like that's crazy. Like there's not much to share as a Dolphins fan lately, but every time we beat the Pats, boy, that's a hell of a rapid
big moment.
Every time.
All right, I'm going to take this from football over onto baseball here. So this is kind of an interesting one, but I wanted to bring it up because there's like a lot of different layers to it. So on August 7th, 2007, Barry Bonds ripped the ball to right center field to hit his 656 home run that passed Henry Aaron. I want to talk about this one because obviously, you know, Barry Bonds is one of the best hitters and power hitters of all time. But there's always going to be that asterisk, I should say, surrounding, you know, his name and the record, just because, you know, the implications of steroid use, which now we can all almost say like he definitely did it. And I wanted to talk about this one because how the MLB changed the rules after everything that went down with players like Rafael Palmeiro, Gary Sheffield, Mark McGwire, like all using steroids. And I just thought it was interesting, like, Barry Bonds pretty much almost single-handedly by himself like changed the legislation and the bylaws for the MLB. C-League was the commissioner that changed it to in 2005. If you get caught the first time, you're out for 50 games. If you get caught the second time, it's 100. And if you get caught the third, it's a lifetime ban. And I don't know. I just think for like a lot of the time period during the 90s and the early 2000s, like players were just doing a lot of stuff and they were getting away with it. And I see this as kind of like a turning point to where baseball actually started paying attention to what was going on in the game.
I feel that. So keeping it on baseball, this is my only baseball thing I have. But for some odd reason, I decided to watch this day was Derek Jeter's last game. So that game was crazy. A walk-off double, right? Am I right?
Yeah, that was definitely a walk-off.
Yeah, so the walk-off and then just the crazy hat tip. It was like so much emotion behind all of it. Like it was a pretty cool way to go. I think everybody wants to, you know, end their last game as like a walk-off win or something, you know. So that was pretty cool for someone who's not into baseball like me, or not into it too heavy. Just, you know, seeing like something like that is pretty awesome. Just a historic play. And then like, you know, everybody around the stadium tipping their hats and all that. It was awesome. It was an awesome feeling, even from the TV. So,
no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, you all know I don't have memories from baseball at all. It's been a recent sport for me. But at this point in our conversation, I'd like to point out like some of the stuff that like they're sports memories either ways, but like sometimes sports can be more of a statement. Like it doesn't matter, like it doesn't really matter like winning the title or winning the game itself, but sometimes the statement you make in sports goes way beyond the sports itself. And that being said, I'm going to talk about Isaiah Thomas on his last season with the Celtics. Listen, I know that he got traded after, and it was like a great trade for the Celtics. And I mean, loyalty is not a thing anymore when it comes to business. But what Isaiah Thomas did the last season, it was with the Celtics when they went to the conference finals against LeBron, and they beat the Wizards before. And I must say that was a very tough Wizards team to beat with John Wall and Bradley Beal. When Isaiah Thomas played that game after his sister died, I remember watching that. Like I was just following up the playoffs, and I remember watching the news, and I'm like, man, like this is way bigger than sports. You know, it's not like a personal memory for me because I'm not like a Celtics fan, and I was not like cheering for anybody. But I actually enjoyed what Isaiah Thomas did that season. So first of all, Isaiah is like clearly a smaller player, and he was almost averaging 30 points per game. So that's kind of like a message for everybody that thinks they're not tall enough or they're not good enough to play basketball. Like he was the last pick in the draft, and the guy still made it. And he was putting up all-star numbers. He was named an all-star. He was even in the conversation for MVP that season. I'm not going to forget about that. And with all aside, everything aside from sports to whatever, like his personal life, like his sister just died, and the guy is still there in the arena playing up for the Celtics. And the guy just put up a show like every night, you know, like he played good. He made a hell of a game. And that's that for me, that kind of shows like athletes are people too. Like people tend to forget that like robots or something, but like sometimes it's way bigger than the sports, the memory itself. Because I know like Isaiah was sad, and he's probably still a sad memory for him the day that his sister died. But dude was still there, you know, to keep us all entertained and to keep inspiring all of those that I remember like a lot of people in Portugal buying Isaiah Thomas jersey because they were small, and that was like a Muggsy Bogues thing. Like, you know, like a statement for smaller people that will really want to play basketball. I don't know, man. These type of memories just I think they're very significant, you know. Either if you're a fan of basketball or a fan of the Celtics, whatever, this is just important stuff in sports history, you know.
For sure. That Isaiah Thomas season was crazy, man. You kind of like look at how hard he was balling and the numbers he was putting up in that season, like compared to like what he's now done after that. Obviously, like he got some rough bounces. He got traded to Cleveland there, and LeBron was like, "Fuck this," and pretty much was like the GM and traded everybody on the team. And I know he's bounced around to a few teams other than that, but still crazy. Like when you look back at the numbers for his height, and like he was the legitimate MVP candidate. Nobody can ever take that away from him. That being said, I have a question for you guys. Do you guys have any? Kyle kind of talked about it, sitting on the couch as a Patriots fan when the Giants went out there and pretty much took their lunch money in the fourth quarter. But do you guys have any other, kind of shitty sports memories or just memories that you don't want to relive again because it's just such a shitty experience?
Um, I don't know if I have one for me necessarily. Probably, I think I do. Yeah, I think I do. Probably every time the Nets lost, but um, a good one I have is when UNC was playing Villanova national
Mhm.
championship, March Madness, and so my roommate and one of my other friends, they were Carolina fans, right? And I'm sitting here, I don't have another team, so I'm like, I'm a root for Villanova, right?
Right.
Last game I remember, God, I forget the guy's name, but the guy who hit the shot,
I can
Chris
picture.
Jenkins.
Oh yeah, I can picture the shot perfectly. I couldn't remember his name though.
Is it? Uh,
No,
I'm not
I think
even
you
try.
got it. I think you got it. I think that's
No, I'm
it.
talking about the point guard. I forget who the point guard was, but I just remember he gets the ball. Oh no, I remember right before that, Marcus Page comes down. He hits
Hit a
this little
three.
crazy kind of three, right?
You like double
And
clutched it.
yeah, and so you have both of them in the room getting hype. You know that we about to win. Everybody's celebrating. Next play they inbound it. He dribbles all the way down. I don't know how they set up some kind of like screen handoff turn off thing. And Chris Jenkins just comes down, deep three, knocked down, game over. And they're just sitting there, just quiet, just just kind of lost. All I remember doing is just Chris Jenkins, let's go. And I'm sitting there, I'm repping Villanova for like the whole next day. Like anything I do, I'd grab like a piece of paper and I shoot it at a trash can. I just look at them, just Chris Jenkins. So I
They're
know that
probably
was one of
pissed,
my
bro.
favorite moments. Had to be. I was annoying with it.
I mean, when it comes to bad memories, bro, I've been thinking about like if I went to football, I have plenty from the Dolphins, but like I said, I think when I mentioned that we lost the 2004 Euro Cup final, I was really young. I was like 8 years old, but I have some flashbacks of like being surrounded, like in 2016, with family and friends. And I remember like Greece scored. Like, can you imagine Greece? Just of everybody, Greece. We're playing at home, and this guy scores a header off a corner shot. Oh my god!
You were sick. I know it.
But you play at home. You're at the finals. You have one of the best teams in soccer, like with Luis Figo, young Cristiano Ronaldo, and Greece scores a header off a corner shot. Oh man, like I said, I was too young and my memories are not like very bright, but I do remember the shot. I do remember the goal. I do remember being watching it on TV. And I think me and my parents were in a barbecue with some of their family friends. And as far as I remember, nobody spoke a word. It was just like, when you're having fun in a barbecue and you think you're about to celebrate one of the best moments in sports culture for your country, and then that happens and everybody's just awkwardly looking at each other like, should we go away? Like, should we go back home? Like, should we just end this barbecue here? Boy, that was rough. That was definitely rough.
That's funny that you say that because there's probably a few. I mean, I'll give this one. The A's had made it to the wild card playoff game the last 2 years in a row, and I'm a huge A's fan, so it was pretty disappointing to see them get bounced 2 years in a row. And their like record in wild card games is like horrific. It's like if you look at it, you'd be almost shocked. How is it possible that they lost that many games? But the big one for me, I want to see if Kyle remembers this. Kind of like you said, Tiago, it's kind of hard to like draw back fully on your memories when you're so young when it comes to sports. But the year was 2002. The Raiders were playing the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. It was a snow blizzard. I think my dad. I think somebody's laughing because they know what's about to be said. I think
I remember.
my. You remember?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. Look it up after. I think my dad like took me and my mom to like kind of like you said, Tiago, just like a friend's house that was like throwing a party for the game. And I remember everybody celebrating the whole entire time, having a great time. There's about like 2 minutes left
Oh,
or so, and Charles Woodson comes off the edge in the snow. He sacks Brady. We think we've won. There's a challenge from the Patriots. They go to the booth and they try and say that he was coming here and that he was trying to bring the ball back in. But it was like so clearly obvious that he was throwing the ball and Woodson just slapped it out of his hand and they picked it up for a fumble. The plays later like become to be known called the Tuck Rule. So anybody that hasn't seen that, you got to go Google that. The Raiders got screwed out of the AFC Championship game. They would have won the Super Bowl that year if they'd made it. So I was 6 years old, but I'm still pissed. And when I get on YouTube randomly and I'm just looking at shit, I remind myself of my misery by Googling that one up too.
Damn,
all right.
that's tough.
Tough.
All right. I don't have another one for a time I felt kind of down or whatever, but I do have one. I remember just watching and being like, "What is happening?" And it's something that Tiago is going to forever mention anytime I bring up the Jets.
I know.
Y'all remember the butt fumble,
Right.
right? I remember watching this. Who were they playing again? Remind me.
That's a good question, man. I think
I don't think it matters.
more remembered for what happened than who they were playing.
And we
Oh
just
my
and if you know
gosh.
watching, I don't know. I know he drops back and he just like kind of panics. I don't know where he's running. And of all the places you can run, right into your team, fumble the ball. What? And I remember just for I don't know how many weeks, but it was number one on Sports Center,
Yeah.
not top. Oh, I think it was the longest running one possible. Like, it was just one of the worst plays ever. So
It pretty much like summarizes up Mark
Which-
Sanchez's career, just in general, how things kind of worked out for him in the
yeah,
NFL.
Sanchez, the Jets,
Uh,
everything.
The funny and the crazy part is that man actually took them to an AFC Championship game, which is
Yes.
pretty fucking crazy.
That is so wild. That is so wild. I don't understand it, but whatever.
Oh my god, bro!
I don't think
Honestly,
anybody remembers anything from that game except that play.
the butt fumble,
Yeah.
exactly. Bro, honestly, like now that you mentioned it, it's not like a personal memory for me, but when I was in Erasmus, when I was living in Finland, that was the year the Patriots faced the Eagles on the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
And I had this Boston friend. He was just fanatic for Tom Brady. He was just fanatic for the Patriots. And I remember during the playoffs, he was just every day he would be wearing his Pats jersey, and he's a very religious guy. All right, so I met this guy, and he said like he has a pray for each timeout that was going to happen in the Super Bowl. And I'm like, all right, dude. I mean, I was not like very into the Super Bowl because I'm not either an Eagles or a Patriots fan, but I was like slowly like cheering for the Eagles because I like the underdog, and I just was enjoying what Nick Foles was doing. And I remember on the Super Bowl day, bro. Like, so a lot of people come in. There was a lot of Americans actually in my building, and this guy is still wearing his Pats jersey. He's making every single prayer. So every time there's a timeout or like halftime or something, he goes back to his room. He makes a prayer. He comes back, and then he does that all the time. Like the guy's just climbing up the stairs and down the stairs. And when Foles gets the Philly special. When that happens, when the Eagles make the Philly special and Foles gets the ball in the touchdown zone, I've never seen somebody being so sad in my whole life. I'm not gonna lie, man. The guy's face, dude. Like I was cheering for the Eagles and I got sad. Like I felt bad. That Super Bowl didn't even feel good to me. Like the guy was just on his seat like this, looking at the floor, like nobody else is there. Nobody gives a fuck. The guy's just standing looking at the floor. With all being said, guys, like it's always fun to have this conversation with friends, especially like when y'all share the same love for sports. It's actually funny to see, like from my point of view as an European person, bringing all these soccer memories, since it's something that I've been lived through since I was a kid. But it's also really nice to see like both of you guys' points of view. Like Max said, that 2002 memories, or Kyle cheering for the Pats in New York. That's just crazy. But most important of all, like I mentioned before, these are all memories, or most of them are memories that shape sports in some kind of way and shape cultures and fan bases. And it's always nice to remember that sports will never be just sports, because it will always be a big part of somebody's life. It can change someone's life as a fan, as an athlete, as an owner, whatever it is, as a whole country itself by winning a title. We all know that countries and a lot of people find joy in sports, and we've been seeing that, especially in like third world countries where sports or soccer is like the main thing that brings joy to the people during rough times. And since we're going through rough times right now due to the coronavirus, it's always nice to review some of the nice memories we had. Because YouTube is always up. It's always nice to go and check it back. And I hope that everybody that listens to this takes their time to check some of the memories we mentioned. I'm sure he will learn more about sports. I'm sure he will find a lot of fun checking on that. And I guess that's it.
Before we end here, I'm gonna give a little quote, kind of to piggyback what Thiago was saying. It's from Nelson Mandela. Sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to you. It speaks to youth in a language they understand.